Hey everybody, Leanne here with Paper Heart Scissors, and I got the Simon Says Stamp April card kit called Birthday Flowers, and there were a lot of cute little embellishments in there. You can see them on the right there. There were some tags, beautiful papers with that color story with um, the catkin and the spring rain and the cotton candy. And I actually changed it from Schoolhouse Red to Lipstick Red as we went on. I wanted it to be a little bit brighter, but really nice color palette. So being that I really like using stamps more than I like using embellishments from paper companies or pattern paper. But I do like making layered cards and using things on top of stamping. And that is what I'm going to show you today, which is a way to take a single layer stamped card and either use it standalone or change it up and add some embellishments, add a different background, and end up really with three completely different looks, but all really easy to do. You can be really creative and have fun with it. So this is the card that I made to kind of model all the other ones after, and I put all of the stamps that I was going to use on separate blocks, and I cut up 6 little white card fronts. You can see there's actually only 5 there left, and then I have a post-it note, and you'll see me make a mask in a minute. And that is kind of the background image pattern that I was going with. And I took the cotton candy ink, it could have been any color that you wanted, and I just stamped it on a piece of post-it tape. And then I cut that out, and we're going to use that for 2 separate things. We're going to use it for masking the flowers when we stamp in those little black lines, which I think are really adorable. Like, I can think of a bunch of different things to do with those. And then we're also going to use the mask this way, where because we don't have dies for this kit, I can cut around and get a flower shape. And I'm going to cut a bunch of those out, and we're going to use those as layers on the card in a couple of different ways. So I'm just going to keep going here and cut a bunch of those out of the different patterns. And also, the other thing is, for making these little collage cards, keep your scraps, and all of them, till the very end, because even some of the little ones I ended up using, and you can combine the different the sentiment stickers over on the side there or anything else. So now you can see I've got an assortment of the little flowers cut out, and I'm going to start stamping. I'm going to start with the cotton candy first, the lightest color on that big stamp. And I am going to follow the card that I made, and you could have a sketch. I just used that test that I made into a card, but then that was really my test for designing the pattern. And I'll do a few pencil sketches first, but I used the little inside because I didn't know how much of the flower was going to poke out. And I actually liked the stamping kind of fast and a little bit rough here. It's not perfect like if you put it in the MISTI and I'd gotten a perfect impression, but that's okay because this is really about layering all those pieces together and giving it texture. So because we're doing that, and I'm giving it so much texture, a little bit of the stamping not being perfect, a little bit of different shading is okay. So have fun with it. I also didn't do all of them exactly the same. If I felt like I had moved the flowers up or down a little bit, then I positioned the stripes a little higher or lower. And I also moved some of the smaller dots, and I think this smaller flower around on a couple of the other ones, depending on what embellishments I thought I might use, because a few of them were bigger than the others. The little clips, some of the clips are bigger than the other clips. So now I'm going to use my mouse to mask out over the flower. And I'm just going to place a post-it on that bottom one just to protect it from the ink. I'm not going to have to cut out 2 masks. So again, really quick and easy with this one. And I'm going to make a nice line of those black little drawn lines in there, and then I'm going to literally flip the stamp around after inking it and just stamp again so that it is actually going off the edge of the card. And I love that. It really reminds me actually of the rifle paper color, these flowers and the kind of the color palette with the black and the white. And we all love rifle paper. How could you not love her patterns? They're beautiful. So I'm just making sure that I'm not going to stamp onto anything that I don't want to stamp onto, but you can see that it's got a really nice shape, so you can go around, and then I'm using the center dot to actually copy a lot of the, if you look at the papers in this kit, there's a lot of really cute papers, and a lot of the pieces in the stamp set are very similar. So they really go together well. And so what's nice about that is that I took the paper colors and I took the elements and really kind of just, I made a different design, but it feels really comprehensive and very much the same. And then I was looking at, just to make sure, because I'm doing this for you guys and trying to show you a simple way to do it and also a complex way, or where you can just keep adding embellishments, I wanted to make sure I was looking to see that that sentiment was going to fit in that little corner up or above. So here I am. I'll tell you, when I make a lot of parts and pieces in the beginning, and then really I like to just kind of move them around and turn them over. It's great with these double-sided papers when everything kind of goes together, because that is the one nice thing about these kits, having these all the same kind of matching coordinating pieces. You know, they've been doing that in scrapbooking for years, and I tend to like these embellishments for scrapbooking a lot more than I do for cards. But this one actually worked out really well with having the little embellishments. So those are those clips, and I thought maybe I might use that. And I just keep moving stuff around until I feel like I'm happy with what's going to go where. And I ended up with this. I love the little green clip kind of next to the leaves, and it all really ties in together. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a couple little marks and draw just a simple line. Don't worry, it doesn't have to be perfectly straight, and this doesn't have to be perfectly straight either. You saw I took my craft knife and I cut a slit in the card, and that's where that clip is going to stick in. So now it's actually just on the front of our card. And then I'm going to actually cut around the edge of the flowers there, and then have a outline made out of the dots, which I'm going to add, and the dotted one. And then I am going to take a little bit more of that cotton candy ink, and I'm just going to rub, not a lot, but some on in that. Again, not in a perfect way. I really wanted this to be kind of shabby chic, so almost have it look like it was paint on a brush. It does. I used the felt, an older felt blender, and you can get kind of grainy lines with it, which I like. So these are the stickers that came with the kit, and I'm actually going to choose one, and then I'm going to adhere it to a little scrap of paper. Yeah, see there, it's just, that was just hanging out on my desk from me cutting out the flowers for one of the other ones, and there we go. And I'm going to put a little fishtail on that, and that is actually going to go on top of this card. So I'm kind of walking through and looking at all the little pieces. I'm going to set that one aside and move on to the next one. And again, just make a bunch of fun little things for yourself, and then play around with them, with moving them around. I mean, you just have to move them around till you like them. But having the base design gives you, you know, kind of a framework for setting yourself free with some of the other patterns and parts and pieces. So once you have that design, you can then make a decision of how you want it to go together. And on this one, I think I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll stick the clip the other direction. So I cut the line vertically, and I'm going to stick the back of that one this time in there because I wanted the little word love to show. And then I took another greeting from, I don't think I ended up using the black letters. I think I took a bunch and put them on paper and cut them up as well and made some different options for myself. But you can kind of see how they all just start going together in the layers. And again, this is really to show you the process that I went through, which is not terribly long, but it's not, this is probably one of the longest videos I've done in a while, because I wanted to show you that I create a design and I make a bunch of things, and then I really just move the stuff around and have fun with it until I feel good about what I've got. So there's 3 of the finished cards at this point, and I just want to throw that in there to remind you where we were going. I actually changed out the love to the XOXO and used a different sentiment that was on that little scrap of paper. And now we have 2 more, and I'm going to put those off to the side, and then we will start working on the other colors. So because we're going to use the red paper and the sea glass paper and the black paper, I wanted to show you that you could use those big flowers in the same design, but change the colors, switch the colors up a little bit. So you can see that there's red flowers still with the catkin small ones, and then I actually did catkin big flowers with little cotton candy ones to go on that last card, which really works as a single layer card. So you see I took the hello friend sentiment and put that on the front, and you could add an embellishment on top of there if you wanted to, but it also makes a beautiful card just on its own. And I kept pulling pieces of these little stickers, and literally to make them homemade embellishments, just placing them on some of the pattern paper and then cutting them out. Really simple and sweet. I wasn't sure about this. I even tried this one going the opposite direction. Well, I could turn the card to be a horizontal card, and you could certainly do that. The design works for that as well. I ended up just changing the paper clip to the little round one with the catkin color and the dots on the top, and you'll see that in one of the final images. But again, I cut down the other piece, and there's my 2 little flowers. I'm going to leave the one on the right because the clip is so big and it's so decorative. I decided to not add another embellishment to that red design, and then I'm cutting a hole in this one for the bracket of that. And then this is the one I think I changed it out, and you'll notice that it's different in a little bit, but I'm just seeing how I like it against the red background. Do I like it against the black background? My goal was, there they all are kind of composed. They are not actually glued together yet. All of the pieces are just kind of sitting there loose, and this is what I do a lot. I make a bunch of stuff, I get it sort of how I like, and then I assemble them at the very last minute. And that helps me because as I'm kind of putting things together, if I don't like something, I don't have everything glued down. That is the single layer card there with just the catkin, and what a lovely card just by itself. So you can use the design completely by itself, or you can add some more embellishments, because that set of drawn lines that's stamped there really has it's a nice visual placeholder for you to layer onto. It gives you that middle ground and that focal point for you to land something and put all your layers on. So now I'm assembling them, and a couple things here. You want to make sure that you do get a little bit of adhesive on your clip so that won't come out. And you can see I continued finishing this today. I hurt my hand this morning. I fell down in the garden. So I am protecting my wrist a little bit. Anyway, so I am sticking on the rest of the flowers. And that one is, I added that sentiment to the back of the paper, and I wanted that to be a little bit dimensional. and that foam is going to hold those down. And I'm also, feel free to, you know, scratch up the edges. I did use some, I pulled out some liquid pearls, and I'm using that in random spots, different on all the cards, to give some dimension to the center. So you can see where I have added that on that one, on that red one, and I added it to the centers of the red flowers and to the centers of the greens. And then on some, like the one with the polka dots, I added it to all the polka dots on the larger flower. So, you know, again, just really having some fun with the shapes and the design of all of the elements and the pattern paper that was kind of the support for all of that. So here are the 6 cards finished from, you know, most complicated layered to simpler. On the, all of them are sitting flat on the card base except for the single layer card that only has that one little embellishment on it. And that one I did put on foam and raised off the card base. But I felt like the rest had so much had so much going on that I didn't want to give it that additional height. And so here's the take a look at the final red versions, the final black versions, and the final sea glass color versions. I hope you were inspired and you had a good time. Let YouTube know if you like this video and visit me on my blog. See you soon.